Hello everybody, and welcome to the automated shop tutorial. This tutorial will be kind of segmented into 3 different videos. The first will be your basic installation and just getting the package set up along with your build settings for the intended platform you want to use. The second will be configuration, which is setting up the look of your shop, the shape of it, how everything's loading, all that fun stuff. And the third will be going through the purchasing logic, and we will be reviewing some scripting, although that's not necessary. So anyways, let's get off with some installation. So as you can see, this is a completely empty Unity project. I already have the shop, but I will show you how to install that. So completely empty. To get the shop, we're going to go to Window, Package Manager, and in the My Assets, you should see Automated Shop right here, and you're just going to want to click Import. And you'll see a window looking like this, and you're just going to want to click Import. So I already have done that though, so let's just jump right into it. So after you've installed the shop, the next thing you should consider is your build platform. I generally just build mobile games, so that's kind of what this is geared for. However, it does work on any platform. But today we're going to be using Android. So once you have that set up, you are good to go. Hello everybody, and welcome back to the automated shop tutorial. This is part 2 of 3. In this video we'll mainly be talking about the configuration of our shop. In the previous video we just did basic installation and setting up our build platform. I'm currently on Android, but you can use any platform you want as discussed in the previous video. So first things first, we still have our empty scene, and I want to build a portrait mode shop to start. Portrait mode, your phone is standing up. Landscape, your phone is on its side. But I will go through both in this video, but we're going to start with portrait. So to get started, we have our automated shop package down here. We're just going to open that up. And there's a lot of things in here that we'll get into, but for now, we mainly just want to look at our prefabs. So there's a few in here. As you can see, there's 1 or 2 that are called master canvases. As you know, with UI, you need a canvas to put it on. These come with canvases built in, and you can literally just drag and drop them into your scene, and it's good to go. So that's what I'm going to do. I want to build portrait. So I'm just going to drag and drop into my scene, and there you go. And as I said, it comes with a canvas. This canvas scaler is set to scale with all screen sizes. You can mess with the reference resolution if you would like, but as you can see, if I just change all this stuff, portrait, everything aligns and is good to go, which is very nice for mobile games as everybody has different phones these days. But let's get into it. So if we go into our prefab over here, I'm just going to stretch this a little. You drop it down, we have our basic background image, we have some text, just the title. You can change it to anything you'd like. If you do want to make changes, just right click the parent, go to prefab, and then unpack, and you can add and remove stuff as you please. You'll have to do it with this one as well, but for now I'm just going to leave it as the template. So now that we've talked about just the backbone of it, let's get into the actual scroll view, which is this prefab here. So let's drop it down, our viewport, and our content. You don't really have to worry about scaling these and moving them around, as that's what our shop is for, and that's what it does. It just kind of aligns everything for you with a click of a button. So let's get into it. If you go to the content game object, this component or script right here is the main script we use for the formatting of our shop. Now I'm building a portrait mode, so this portrait mode template is pretty much good to go. If I just press play, there will be a shop with these 4 items, which I will get into in probably the next video. But for now, it's more important just to figure out the configuration of your shop and how you want it to look. So I'm just going to press play and show you guys what it looks like right off the bat. I haven't changed anything, nothing's happened. This is our game view over here. I can scroll, and this works perfectly on your phone as well with your finger just swiping around the screen. So yes, there are 4 items here. I haven't talked about them yet. That's mainly for next video. I wouldn't worry about them right now. What's mainly important is just figuring out the shape of your shop. So I'm just going to exit play mode here and go through these variables which kind of define your shop, the look of it and all that. So just ignore the shop item go and purchasable items right now. We will get into that next video. So first thing we're going to want to look at is our list direction. So this will control the direction that our shop's built in, vertical, horizontal. Do we want our list to go top down or left to right, or vice versa? Can we scroll horizontal? Can we scroll vertical? So I'm just going to check these right away. So if I have both, that means if I go up and down I can, if I go left to right I can. You know, it looks a bit weird when it's on portrait mode like this, so I'm just going to keep it to vertical for now. Okay, so then we have all these variables down here that are sliders. You can just type in what number you want, but the sliders are kind of nice. So let's get started. First we have our Y start pause. As you can see, everything has tooltips, very descriptive. Should be able to figure out what they are, but I will dive in and kind of go through them one by one. And everything updates during play mode with these sliders. You just have to remember to save when you are done. So let's get into it. This is just the default template, as I said before. Let's start changing stuff. So if we change our Y start pause, if we increase it, the shop will move down. If we decrease it, the shop will move up. So if I just go like this, as you can see over here, this box, our content, it scales with our new values, right? So I can scroll up, it's still there, go like this, everything's good to go. It's a bit too high now, so I'm just going to bring that back. There we go. Yeah, looks good. Okay, moving on to our X start pause. This controls the left to right position of your shop, where it is. So let's start playing around. Move it to the left, move it to the right. But the template is pretty much exactly where you want it, right in the middle. Just a tip, if you hold Alt and then click on the name of the variable, it can change very minuscule values. It's very good if you want to get just the tiniest bit over, you know, it's just a little bit off. That's going to be what you want to do. Alt, left click, hold, drag. Alright, anyways, keep moving on. So we have our shop here. Now we have our Y offset. Y offset is the gap from the shop above you and below you. This gap right in here. So I'm just going to start left click, or Alt and left click, and you can see a Y offset of 0. They'll be completely on top of each other because there's no value in between them. So I'll bring it down to show you. There's 4 items right here. So let's just start increasing because obviously we don't want that. I'm not holding Alt right now, that's why it's going so fast. Okay, that's a good spacing. Let's bring it back up. There you go. Just like that. It's back to how it was. And you can go pretty far. These max values you can change in the script, but 500 is pretty extreme and you shouldn't need to go any bigger than that. So next, our X offset, the distance from the left or right to the one previously. So as you can see, I'll start manipulating this here. And with portrait mode, it looks a bit weird. In the vertical, it starts going side to side. Could be a cool feature if you're building a UI-based game, but those are pretty rare. So it's mainly for horizontal shops, but it is pretty fun to mess around with. And if I did have my horizontal scroll here, I can just drag my scene view on here. It would be able to go kind of all around like this. But I just have vertical on right now, so you can't really tell. Anyways, I'm going to put that back to 0 for now. So those are the 4 kind of basic position and spacing that you need to get the shop up and moving. It's a little bit off now, so I'm just going to bring that back. It's bugging me. There we go. So now we have this variable right here. I'm going to exit play mode because there's a pretty handy tooltip. This is called the row call index, or row column index. This is basically the amount of rows you want the shop to have. You have to note that there's always at least 1 row, so a value of 1 will create 2. So I'm just going to dive right into it. This relies heavily on your vertical and horizontal values. So as you can see here, if it's horizontal, this will make columns. If it's vertical, it'll make rows. So I'm just going to put this to 1 right now. I'll actually do it during play mode so you guys can see. So we still have just our basic 4 items here. I'm just going to put this to 1. And now it looks like things disappeared, but actually they're just overlapping. So then we go down to these variables here. Distance between rows, distance between columns. Columns are up and down. Rows horizontal. So I'm going to increase our columns here as we're vertical. And you can see they start to come apart, which is great. A little gap between them here. And now our shop is off a bit to the side, which isn't great. So we go back up to our X start pause up here. I'm going to Alt, left click, and drag. And bring it back over. There you go. Just like that. We have a grid. It's ready to go. You can still scroll. And let's say you wanted a bit more. You can go pretty drastic, make them pretty large. So if I stretch them all the way out, oh, I don't have horizontal scroll on, but if you did, you'd be able to scroll sideways there. Let's go look at it. But anyways, there we go. And the final one here is your viewport edge cushion. So this right here, when your last 2 shop items, there's a gap here to the bottom. This will just increase that. So you can scroll farther and longer. If you say your background image is like a cool piece of art that you want to show off, you can make it as large as you'd like, and you can scroll all the way down, and whatever you need should be good to go. So there we go. And just to show you guys the power of this, here is purchasable shop items. I know I haven't talked about these yet. That'll mainly be in the next video, but just think of them as the items in your shop. So we have 4 right now. If I just want to crank this to 50, I can. Everything scales perfectly. Gets pretty large, and as you can see, I can just scroll forever. And let's say I want 500. We can do that. It's going to take a second, but there we go. That's just how powerful this tool is. You can make infinite shops with the click of a button. So if you want proof, here you go. Here's our hierarchy. 500 shop items. Doesn't look like it. I'm scrolling very fast, but I assure you they're all there. Now, that's pretty much it for our portrait mode one. I'll just do a quick little run through of these again, kind of show you Y pause up and down, X left and right, X offset. It looks kind of cool with rows. Can make like steps almost. So I'm just going to put that back. X offset 0. Bring this back over. Just like that, we're back to normal. See what a Y offset looks like with rows. Pretty cool. Yeah, the distance, you can go negative if you want them on the left, but it doesn't really matter. It's always up to you. You have the power to pretty much do anything you want with this tool. So that's pretty much it for portrait mode. Let's go to landscape. So as you can see, we are back to our empty Unity scene here, and we are going to build a landscape based shop. So I'm just going to hop over to landscape mode here, and we're going to find our prefabs, and we're looking for the master canvas landscape one. It is essentially the same as the portrait mode one. It just has some different variables values that come with it, but more or less the same thing. So we're just going to go down and find our content game object that contains our shop content manager. And yep, it is pretty much the exact same thing, just with some different values, and it is scrolling horizontal. So I'm just going to press play right off the bat. I won't go too into detail with this one, as it's essentially the same as portrait mode. All the variables are the same, everything has the same function. As you can see, Y pause up and down, X start pause left and right. It's pretty much the same. And you can mess around with your row column index. So let's throw 1 here. Because we're vertical, it's going to go up and down. Sorry about that. So if we go horizontal here, as you can see, it just dropped the scroll bar there. So if we increase the distance between our rows, we'll go up and down. If we go columns, because we are horizontal, that won't do anything, but if we hop to vertical here, there you can see it changes. It can be a little tricky to get the hang of on how this list direction functions between the distant row and columns, but it is tool tipped, so just have a look around and you should be able to figure it out. But yeah, so it's essentially the same as the portrait mode one, just different values, so I won't go too into detail with that. Alright, that's basically it for the portrait mode configuration though. Pretty easy, just drag and drop and away you go. Okay, so I know that some of you don't want to use the templates and you already have your own shops or menus and all that, and you just want to add the scroll view. So I'll show you how to do that now. So I'm just back to a Unity empty scene here. I'm going to go back to portrait mode. But first thing we want to do, obviously we need a canvas. So we're going to go create UI canvas. We're just going to call it game canvas. You can call it whatever you want though. And the first thing that you should always do with the canvas, especially for mobile, is go to your canvas scaler here, and you're going to want to do scale with screen size. You can mess around with the reference resolution, but I keep it default. You can go 1920 by 1080, it's usually a good one. And you're going to want to go match width or height, and put this to 0.5, which should scale everything properly. Alright, so next up, I'm going to add a little background here. Just going to go down to UI, I'm just going to throw a panel in, call it background, and we're just going to change the color quick here. Let's go blue, blue's nice. Change the alpha so it's not see-through, and there we go. You can add some text maybe if you want, call it UI. You can use TextMesh Pro, which I recommend, but I don't have it installed, so I'm just going to use the legacy text, and it's going to be called title text, and it's going to be called title. Obviously it's not set up properly over here, as you can see. It doesn't look too great, so I'm just going to change the anchor. Alt, left click, right to the top. I'm not too worried about this right now, it's not really part of the tutorial, but anyways, if you want text or a title, that's how you do it. But now we want a scroll view in here, or whatever you want to add, wherever you want to add it to, you can. So we're just going to go into our automated shop, find our prefabs, and as you can see, there's three things here that are not master canvases, so they do not come with a canvas. They will need one to be on. I'm going to use the portrait one because it comes with some values already set, but you can use an empty one and just set everything yourself, but I recommend you use the portrait one or landscape as it's a pretty good starting point. So just going to drag and drop onto my canvas over here, and there you go. You have a scroll view set up. You can change its color of the viewport if you'd like. Whatever you need to do, you can add art, whatever you want. But essentially the same rules apply for the template. Just drop down viewport, content, and we have all our values here. We have our shop items, which I will get into in the next video. But for now, we mainly just care about the formatting of the shop. So right off the bat, I can press play, and it's good to go. Obviously it's a bit off, so we're just going to change that, bring it over. Okay, and this is very important. When you exit play mode, things will not save. If you want to save them, these three dots over here, you're going to want to left click, copy component. Now when I unplay, they should snap back, but you won't see them because they get generated at runtime. But this X start pause is off, so we're going to click this again. Paste component values. There you go. You see the X pause change there. So now when we click play, it should be back in the middle. Perfect. That's what we're looking for. I won't go too into detail again because we just kind of did all this stuff, but if you want to play around, you are more than welcome to. Let's just make a quick row here. Add a distance between our columns. There you go. Let's just crank this to 50. There you go. Immediately, it's good to go. Whatever you need. And just like that, you have a shop. Took about 2 minutes, not even. And there you go, it's good to go. Just play around. Let's add another row here. See, it starts looking a bit weird. That is because of your viewport. It is a bit off here, right, like that, but it's over here. If you want to reset that, just click the anchor point in the next transform, Alt left click on the bottom stretch all, and it should just snap right back. But usually it's good to go. You don't have to do that stuff, but if that does happen, that's how you fix it. And I can't go sideways here because I don't have horizontal on, so I'm just gonna copy again, exit play mode, go to horizontal, paste component values. That's going to turn it off again. Just going to turn it back on, and click play. And there you go. I can go side to side. Obviously, it's a bit cut off again, so we're going to go down to our viewport edge cushion and just increase that. And now I should be able to go side to side. Great. Perfect. So copy, let go. Our viewport is a little bit off again, so we're just going to do this outside of play mode so it remembers, and that should fix that. Go down to our content, paste component values, and away we go. There you go. You can see it's back, good to go. It's a little cut off here, but that is just because of the edge port cushion. So if I just increase that, that should fix everything. There we go. Now we have a gap. Scroll down. We are 3 columns, a bunch of rows. Feel free to mess around with the row column index. It can go up to 20. It gets pretty extreme, but anywhere from about 1 to 3 is pretty much all you need. But yeah, play around, have fun. I was just kind of showing you guys how quick it is to make a shop from scratch without using the templates. We can just hop to landscape. I know this is a portrait one just to show you guys. With the canvas scaler, everything should scale perfectly. Obviously we still have our portrait mode value, so it'll look a bit off if I press play, so I won't. But just to show you guys how quick things go, that's pretty much all you need to know. Alright. Hello everybody, and welcome to part 3 of the automated shop tutorial. In the past videos we did installation and just your basic shop formatting setup. In this one we're going to be looking at what is actually inside your shop, what are these scriptable objects, what are the scripts that come with it. We can briefly glance through the documentation, but let's just hop right into it. So I'm just back to an empty Unity scene here. I'm going to go to my prefabs, I'm going to grab my master canvas and just drag and drop. There you go, it's good to go. So we're going to go into our drop down here, viewport, content, find our shop content manager. Now we're going to talk about the shop item go and the purchasable items. So first things first, let's look at our shop item. Our shop item is just a basic UI of a background image, a button, some cost text, another background image which is kind of treated as like a trim, and that's essentially it. Very simple UI based prefab, nothing to it, no scripts or anything. It's kind of just a template for all your shop items. So this is where you could add unique art styles and your own art style, whatever you want to do to it, make it look pretty. You are completely allowed to do that. But let's go back. So just coming back to our shop content manager here. So your shop item go is going to be, every shop item in here is going to be a clone of the shop item. And you might be asking, how does it know its different values? Why, when I press play, is each shop item different? If I go maximize over here, show you guys a bit better. This one's $1.50, this one's $1, different title, different title. This one has a teal background, 500, whatever. I will show you guys that right now. So the things that's controlling it, as you can see, we have 4 purchasable items here. These are scriptable objects. Scriptable objects are just a persistent data container. If you don't know much about them, I recommend looking into them, but you don't really need to know, to be honest, just to get things working. So each one of these shop items is a clone of this, and it reads the data from your purchasable shop item. So I'm just going to click this in my template here, and it's going to take us to automated shop scriptable objects. So I'm just going to hop out of play mode here, and let's look at the first one. So once again, these all have tooltips, and you should be able to just kind of read through the tooltips and figure out what's going on. The names are pretty self-explanatory, but I will go through them. So first up, we have a display name, the name you want this item to have in the shop, a save data name. So if you're using saving and loading, usually it's string based, or you have a bunch of things in a list. You just want to write down the name of it here, so when you go to load that object, you can just read this save data name and it will load it up for you. The cost, what's it going to cost you in the shop. The display image, which is basically the background image. The resource file path. This is if you're using the resources folder instead of just hand populating that purchasable items list in the shop content manager. You can read from a resource file path. You can read from an addressable assets folder. You can read from a asset bundle. There are many ways to populate the shop, but of course the easiest is just dragging and dropping. But if you do have a massive game, you can even read from a server. You'll just need to change a little bit of the code, but it's pretty self-explanatory, and you should know what you're doing if you're doing server stuff. But anyways, let's go back to this. So we have all that fun little string-based stuff. Next, we have the two main things that define your shop items. We have a purchase type, which these are just defaults. You are free to add whatever you want to this. It is just an enum in the purchasable shop item script, which I can show you at the end of this video. But for now, coins, special, in-app purchases, and then the item type. So consumable, weapon, cosmetic, vehicle. Once again, these are kind of just default values that I've thought of. You're more than welcome to add whatever else you want. You could add, say you have a game with familiars, followers, you could add follower, NPC, whatever you want to do. But I'm just going to make a empty one to kind of show you guys. So the way to do that, if you're familiar with scriptable objects, you'll know what I'm about to do. But if we want to make one from scratch, I'm just going to right click in my project folder here in assets, probably in the scriptable objects folder to keep things organized. Go up to create. At the top here, you'll see scriptable objects and purchasable shop item. There we go. And I am just going to call this, let's make a health potion. So health potion. Display name, obviously we want it to be health potion. Save data name. If you do loading and saving, you'll kind of know what I'm talking about here, but I'm just going to go nice and simple, no caps, no spaces, health potion. Cost, let's say 50. Display image, I'm not too worried about this right now because I don't really have art in this project, but if you do have a little picture of like a health potion or a vial or whatever, that's where you would throw that in. Resource file path, for example, this would be, you don't add resources, but I'm just going to do that for example. Resources slash consumables slash potions slash health. And that would locate that folder, this file path, and whatever is inside this file path, it will populate that item when you go to actually purchase it, which I will get into the purchasing logic after this quick demo. But I'm going to leave it for now, as we're not really loading anything. It's mainly used for like if you're loading skins, themes, cosmetics, that kind of thing. But anyways, I'm just moving along. Purchase type, this is a health potion, so we probably don't want to IAP in-app purchase health potion, because that's not a great design choice. We are just going to go coins, so it's going to cost me 50 coins to purchase this health potion. Item type, it is a consumable, but there are many to choose from, so I'm just going to leave it at consumable. And there you go. Right off the bat, you have a health potion for 50. So I'm going to go back to my content up here. I'm just going to put this down to 0 to remove all the examples. Plus, drag, and drop. There we go. If I just press play here, my health potion is in the shop. Just like that, for 50 coins. This white tile here would be your background image, and then this background here is the background image of the shop item. So as you can see, those values change. So the shop item basically just reads the purchasable shop items scriptable object and will populate it like so. So let's make another one just for fun. I'm going to go create scriptable objects, purchasable shop item. Let's call this truck. No, that's not very fun. Batmobile. Don't copyright me, please. Display name, Batmobile. Save data name. Oh. Save data name would be, let's say vehicle underscore bat. Cost, this is going to be an expensive one, 50,000. Display image, you'd want to get an image of your whatever you're selling. Resource file path, whatever you want to load from. This is going to be an in-app purchase. Actually, we'll make it a special purchase, so a special type of currency, and it is a vehicle. So go up to our content over here. Plus, it's just going to duplicate your most recent one, but you can remove that pretty easy. Just drag and drop. There we go. Press play. And just like that, you can see that our background is different. The background changes based on the item type, which you can change or disable. That is up to you. So we have our two items here, which is good to go. So now we can talk about the actual purchasing logic, what happens when you click these items. So if you pull up your console, if you don't know how to pull up your console, Window, General, Console, Control Shift C if you want to go fast. But there you go. So you'll see when I click something, player purchase consumable with a cost of 50. This function on coin purchase is where you should award the player with the item they purchased. And that item can be located in your resource folder that we were just talking about. Alright, I'm going to click the next one. Player purchase a vehicle with the cost of 50,000. This function on special purchase, because of our purchase type of special coins, it's different than a coin purchase, is where you should award the player, same as before. So that's basically it on how you create shop items. You can make whatever you'd want. You can add whatever you want. I will show you how to do that now. So I'm going to open up my scripting and I'll be right back. Alright, so now that we've looked at our purchasable shop items, we can go into the scripts. You don't really need to go into the scripts if you're happy with the default items of the scriptable objects, like over here. But if you do want to add more, I will show you how to do that. And I'll also show you where the shop logic, when you click, actually takes place. So once again, I'm just going to click on these to get the debugs, and these right here. So if you double click these, it will take you to the function that handles this stuff. So on special purchase, on coin purchase, we can throw in another one just to kind of show you. We're going to want an IAP because that is the one that we are missing. Shop item example 2 is an IAP. So just like this. And you can see this one has a different background as it's a different purchase type. So we have 3 different purchase types here. I'm just going to click them all to get my debugs and exit play mode. So before we get into the purchasing logic, I will show you guys the purchasable shop item script and how to add more purchase types and item types. If you're not a programmer, don't be worried. It's literally just typing a word into a line. So I'm just going to double click this at the top. And I'm using Visual Studio 2019, but whatever works for you, it's perfect. It is very heavily commented. There are a lot of tooltips. It may look a little scary, but don't worry, it's pretty straightforward. So if you just scroll down, you find this public enum purchase type. You can see our 3 default values right here. If you want to add more, you're going to add a comma at the end of the previous one. Press enter, and you're going to put whatever you want. So IAP, coin, special, there's not many other options unless something unique to your game. I'm going to say gems, and then maybe I'll say special gems. There you go. I'm gonna leave that for now. You can hit this up here to save, or you can press Control S, and it should be fine. So if we go back to our purchasable item here, scriptable objects, any of them should have it. Purchase type, gems, special gems, it's all there, and good to go. So let's just hop back into our script here. Shop item. You want to add some more shop items, you are welcome to do so. So once again, comma, enter. I'm on a new line now. So what else can we add for a shop item? Consumable, weapon, cosmetic, vehicle. I think I said familiar before. Familiar, so a follower following you around. Maybe an NPC. You buy like a housemaid or something like that. Whatever you need. NPC, familiar. Let's go see if it's there. And there you go. So now I'm gonna make a wolf follower. So this will be in the shop if I want to buy a wolf companion. Wolf friend. This could be, your saved data name could be follower underscore wolf. Wolf. Cost 10,000. Display image, probably you want a picture of a wolf. Resource file path, once again this could be, it'll be resources, but you don't want to type resources. Followers underscore animals, you know, whatever you need to do to locate that asset. Purchase type, let's say gems, as we just made it. Item type, it is a familiar, and just like that, you are good to go. So if you do add new stuff though, you're going to have to add some other scripting, which I will show you. And it's pretty straightforward. I'm just going to delete this for now. So once you know how to add stuff to here, you're going to want to be able to further customize the shop a bit more. If you're familiar with scripting, it should be pretty straightforward with you if you just follow these debug messages, but I will walk you guys through it. So once again, I'm just going to double click on my debug here that says this function whatever, this function whatever. That shall take you to where the actual purchasing is happening. It is heavily commented once again. Do not be afraid. This is just what scripting looks like these days. So anyways, we have our on coin purchase here. So any coin purchase will hit this function. And then we have something called the switch statement, which basically just evaluates what type of purchase you made. Was it consumable, cosmetic, vehicle, weapon, whatever. So we just added new ones to our shop item type, right? So we're going to want to add them to this case here. So we're going to hit enter, type case. If you have IntelliSense, it should just populate for you. But purchasable shop item dot shop item. And then you're going to put a dot operator, and then you're going to want to choose the one that you just created. So we just made familiar. I'm going to double click that. And then I'm going to add colon, press enter, and then you want to add a break. But obviously you want to do something when they purchase it. So for now, I don't have any wolves to award the player, so I'm just going to do a debug log, which just sends a message into that console we were just looking at. And I'm going to put player has purchased wolf, but that's not very generic, so I'm going to make it kind of generic, space plus item type to string. This is the item type that the player has just bought when they clicked on that item. So I'm just going to copy and paste this here. And that should be fine. And always a semicolon at the end of the line. And once again, I'm going to Control S to save, or you can press up here. So now, if I go to buy a familiar, we should see this pop-up logic. But we did make it with a purchase type of gems, so it is right above us, but I will show you how to add that gem purchase type to our purchasing. So just another switch statement right here. And as you can see, coins, special purchase, IAP, Obviously we just added 2 more, so we're going to want to add them here. We're going to go enter case, press space, it should auto-populate for you. Just hit enter on the IntelliSense, or you can just type it in. Purchase type dot, what are our new ones? Gems and special items. I'll just do gems for now, but let's just hop right into it. Colon, enter. I'm just going to add a break quickly so we stop getting that red line, and then I'm going to go back, enter. So this uses coin purchase, special purchase, on IAP purchase. Obviously we just made a new one, so we're going to have to add a new function, which I will show you in a second. But for now, we are just going to add our button on click, button dot on click dot add listener, brackets, another bracket in here. We have something called, we're just going to run a delegate function here, so when the button is clicked, this function will be triggered. So =, chevron, curly brackets, and then here we would add our on gem purchase or whatever. Obviously we don't have that yet, so let's go create it. I'm just going to go down to coin purchase, and I'm literally just going to copy and paste this entire function, just like this. Control C, or you can right click, copy, but enter, a couple indents to make some space for us, and I'm going to paste. It's going to complain saying this function already exists, so we're just going to change this to on gem purchase. And there you go. We have our new on gem purchase function. So when we buy something with gems, well, what kind of item did we buy? Was it a consumable, cosmetic, whatever, weapon, whatever? That is all still the same. The only thing that matters is the currency that you want to remove from the player. So we're just going to go back up here, and it's essentially just this line, but with a different name. So I'm just going to copy and paste that. Copy, paste it. Now we're obviously going to want to change our name to the new on gem purchase function. Just going to double click to highlight it all. Control C to copy. Scroll back up. Double click again. B on gem purchase. And there you go. That's essentially it for our function here. We have a red line at the end here, which is probably just complaining about brackets. So bracket, semicolon, and there you go. It's ready to go. So if we scroll down a bit here, obviously on gem purchase, player purchased, this will be the item type that we bought with the cost of how many gems did it cost us. The function this on gem purchase now is where you should award the player with the item they purchased. So this should be ready to go if we just hop right in back to our shop and we use our newly made wolf that I think I deleted, so we're just going to quickly make that again. Wolf underscore follower, display name wolf friend, I think I said. Save that name, I don't care about that for right now. 50,000. Resource file path, I don't care right now because I'm not awarding them any assets, but you guys will need to do that. That is up to you how you want to do that. Once again, it doesn't have to be through the resource file path. You can just call a function saying give player wolf if you only have a few purchasable items. But anyways, this is going to be gems and familiar. So just to double check here that we know what's happening, I'm going to go back into the script, find that familiar purchase. So we wouldn't know if it worked right now because I don't have anything in here. So I'm just going to steal this debug, copy, paste it. Player purchased a item type with a cost of cost. So we should be able to see what exactly is going on here if everything goes according to plan. So we're just going to go back to our content. This is going to become our wolf follower. Save that. Just make sure everything is correct. Gems, familiar, yep, that's all good. So we're just going to hop in, play. And the background is black because I didn't add a color for the trim for the new types. I can show you how to do that after. So we're just going to go to our console here. I'm just going to click this. Player purchase familiar with a cost of 50,000. This function on gem purchase is where you should award the player with the item they purchased. So there you go. Just like that, we've added a new type with new purchasing logic for gems. And that's pretty much it. It's good to go. But I just said that we are missing the color for that. So if you notice, I had a black background there. That is just up here in what's called our set purchase type function. Once again, another switch statement. It just checks if we're IAP coins special. If you want to add a third one, case 3, add your break, make sure semicolon, put an enter here, background color dot color is equal to. You can make this whatever you want. You don't even have to do this. I just think a nice trim around is cool. So color dot, once you have your actual art and all that set up, you probably won't want this. So if you do want to get rid of it, highlight the whole thing and just commented it. You can do it manually, or you can just go up here and press this little comment out the selected lines, just like that. But let's just add something cool here. Cyan, yellow, green, let's go blue. And we're just going to save all. Let me go back. And then when we click play, that should have a blue-ish background, just like that. Perfect. So hopefully that gives you guys an idea of how the purchasing logic works, how everything kind of is coming together, and hopefully it gives you the creative freedom to add whatever you like to the shop, make it unique to your game, whatever you need it to do. It's all completely allowed to be changed. You can go crazy with it, add whatever you need, and that should be it. Thank you for watching the tutorial. I look forward to playing all your games and seeing your awesome shops. Alright, if you have any questions, feel free to leave some comments below and I'll try to answer them as quickly and as best as I can. Alright, thanks again. Enjoy.